Welcome to Zoe Stories. My God, I woke up with a girl's body feminized serum. I never thought my life could change in a single night. At 18, I was the kind of boy people forgot the moment they looked away. Not handsome enough to be admired, not strange enough to be mocked, just invisible. My mother always said I lived too much inside my head, but how could I not? The world outside never felt built for me. That night, I had locked myself in my room, hunched over the glow of my laptop. Lines of code filled the screen, my only escape from the dull weight of reality. I wasn't a genius hacker, but I liked tinkering, poking around dark corners of the web where ordinary people didn't go. Maybe I was searching for danger. Maybe I was searching for something that could make me feel alive. And that's when I saw it. A forum post buried deep in a hidden board. Feminized Serum. The next step in evolution. At first, I laughed. It had to be some fetish ad or scam. The thread was filled with usernames I didn't recognize, all posting strange testimonials. Woke up in silk, couldn't go back. She made me drink it, and now I'm hers forever. The words unsettled me, like whispers crawling under my skin. I should have clicked away. I should have closed my laptop. But I didn't. The next morning, my cousin Elena showed up at the house. Elena was everything I wasn't. Bold, commanding, with eyes that could pin me in place like a butterfly. She had been staying with us since her parents divorced, and although she was only a year older, she treated me like some lost child. "You look pale," she said, tossing her glossy hair back. "Stayed up all night again, didn't you?" I muttered something, avoiding her gaze. She had this way of smiling, as if she knew things about me I hadn't admitted even to myself. That afternoon, she cornered me in the kitchen. A small vial glinted between her fingers, filled with a strange pink liquid. "What's that?" I asked. Her lips curved into a slow, dangerous smile. "Something I've been working on. Remember how you're always hiding, wishing you could disappear? Maybe you don't need to disappear. Maybe you just need a new body." I froze. My stomach nodded. "That's not funny." "Who said I was joking?" she whispered, stepping closer. "You read about it, didn't you? Online. The Feminized Serum." My blood turned to ice. How did she know? Before I could respond, she pressed the vial into my hand. Her voice was low, almost tender. "You've been lost for so long. This could make you beautiful. It could give you the attention you've secretly wanted." I should have thrown it away. I should have shouted at her. But instead, I stood there, trembling, staring at the shimmering liquid as though it was alive. That night, I couldn't sleep. The vial sat on my desk, catching the glow of the moonlight. My thoughts twisted in circles. Why did Elena want this? Why me? I lifted it, watching the pink swirl inside. My reflection in the glass looked warped, my boyish face bending into something softer, unfamiliar. I whispered to myself, "This is insane. I'm not drinking it." And yet, the thought lingered. What if it works? What if I wake up different? The last thing I remember was Elena's voice outside my door, silky and dangerous. "Sleep well, cousin. Tomorrow, everything changes." I didn't even realize she had slipped inside. Didn't notice the faint sweetness on the water she left by my bed. When I finally drifted into sleep, my throat burned, my skin tingled, and my dreams twisted into visions of mirrors cracking, reflections of me shattering into the shape of a girl I almost recognized. And when the sun rose, nothing would ever be the same. The first thing I noticed was the weight, a heaviness on my chest that didn't belong. I stirred awake, my body aching as though every muscle had been stretched, pulled, rearranged. My vision was blurred, the morning light spilling across the room like a spotlight. And then, my breath caught. My voice. It was soft, light, almost musical. Not mine. I bolted upright and immediately felt the strange bounce across my chest. My trembling hands flew down, pressing against something soft, warm, real. Breasts. My breath quickened, panic rushing in. No, this isn't. But when my shaking fingers clawed at the blanket, when I looked down at the body lying where mine should have been, the truth hit me harder than any nightmare could. Slim waist, smooth skin, narrow, delicate hands tipped with faintly pink nails. I wasn't me. I wasn't a boy anymore. The scream that tore out of my throat was high-pitched, feminine, unrecognizable. Within seconds, Elena was at my door. She stepped inside casually, like she'd been waiting. Her eyes glimmered with triumph as they swept over me. The blanket clutched desperately around my transformed body, my wide, terrified eyes, the tears already stinging them. "Good morning," she said sweetly, her voice dripping with satisfaction. "What did you do to me?" I choked, my words breaking into sobs. She walked closer, slow, deliberate, savoring every second of my unraveling. "I told you last night. Everything would change. And now it has." I stumbled off the bed, nearly tripping over my own legs. They felt wrong. Too long, too smooth, too foreign. "Change me back. Please, Elena, this isn't funny." She tilted her head, mock pity in her eyes. "Oh, cousin, look at you. You're shaking, crying, but don't you realize? You're gorgeous." The words sliced through me. Gorgeous. Pretty. Feminine. I staggered toward the mirror, clutching the blanket around me like a shield. My heart hammered as I looked up. The reflection staring back wasn't mine. A girl with wide, terrified eyes gazed at me, her face soft, lips full, cheekbones sharp in a way I'd never had. Her hair spilled down, longer than mine had been, dark and silky. Her chest rose and fell rapidly with every panicked breath. I touched my cheek. She touched hers. "No," I whispered. "That's not me. That's not me." But the mirror didn't lie. Elena stepped behind me, her hands resting possessively on my shoulders. I could see her smirk in the reflection, her head tilted just so. "You should thank me," she whispered into my ear. "Do you know how many people live their whole lives invisible? You are nothing. Now you'll never be ignored again." Tears blurred my vision. "I don't want this." Her grip tightened. "One has nothing to do with it. You needed this. And I'm going to make sure you see it." I tried to push past her, but my new body betrayed me. Weaker in some ways, softer in others. My balance faltered, and I crashed to the floor, sobbing in humiliation. Elena crouched down, tilting my chin up with her finger. Her tone was softer now, almost tender, but her eyes burned with control.
"Sure.
It's all right. The first step is always the hardest. But don't worry, I'll guide you. I'll teach you how to walk, how to speak, how to dress. You'll be perfect." Her smile widened. "You'll be my perfect girl." I shook my head violently, clutching at the blanket like it was the last piece of myself I had left. But in the pit of my stomach, terror twisted into something even worse. A small, shameful flicker of heat at her words. At the way she called me pretty. At the way my reflection, despite the horror, looked undeniably beautiful. And that scared me more than anything else. I couldn't stop staring at the mirror. Every time I blinked, I half expected the reflection to reset, to show the familiar boy I had been only yesterday. But no matter how long I looked, the girl's wide, tear-filled eyes stayed there, haunting me. Her flushed cheeks, her trembling lips, her beauty. I hated it. And yet, a part of me couldn't look away. Still in shock, Elena's voice pulled me out of my spiraling thoughts. She leaned against the doorway, arms crossed, her expression both amused and calculating. "Change me back." My voice cracked, still too light, too delicate. "I don't care what you did, just undo it." Her laugh was soft, cruel. "There is no undo. The serum isn't a costume you can peel off. It's you now." She walked toward me, slow and deliberate, her heels clicking against the wooden floor. Which means it's time to stop crying like a child and start learning how to live with it. I backed away until my shoulder blades pressed against the cold glass of the mirror. "I can't. I won't." She cut me off, grabbing the blanket I clutched and yanking it free with a sharp tug. I screamed, arms flying across my chest and waist, but it was useless. My new body, slim, smooth, soft, was exposed in the daylight. The curve of my hips, the faint swell of my breasts, the smoothness where once there had been roughness. My skin burned with shame. "Stop looking," I cried. But she didn't. She studied me like an artist critiquing her masterpiece. Her eyes lingered on every new contour, every sign of femininity I wished I could deny. "You're beautiful," she said finally, her tone soft but her smirk sharp. "But beauty means nothing if you don't know how to carry it. You're still standing like a boy, awkward, hunched, afraid. We'll fix that." She snapped her fingers. From the dresser, she pulled out a bundle of fabric, silky and pale pink. She tossed it onto the bed with a flourish. My stomach dropped when I saw what it was. "Lingerie." "No," I whispered, shaking my head violently. "I'm not." "Yes, you are." She stepped closer, her voice firm. "Put it on." "I won't." Her smile hardened into something sharper. "Do you want me to call your mother in here? Or maybe I'll open the curtains and let the neighbors see how adorable you look now. You think they'd believe you were ever a boy?" My chest tightened. The thought of anyone else seeing me like this, of my secret shame being paraded in front of others, I felt sick. My legs trembled. She knew she had me. Slowly, with trembling hands, I picked up the lingerie. The fabric was impossibly soft, delicate against my fingers. I swallowed hard, trying not to cry again as I stepped into the matching panties, pulling them up over my unfamiliar hips. They clung to me, hugging curves I still didn't understand. Then the bra, awkwardly, clumsily fastening it, my hands shaking so badly Elena finally sighed and stepped forward to clip it for me. Her fingers brushed against my back. My breath hitched. "There," she whispered, stepping back to admire me. "Perfect." I stood frozen, humiliated, every nerve on fire. "Walk," she ordered. My eyes widened. "What?" "Across the room. Walk like the girl you are now." "I don't know how. That's why I'm here." She grabbed my wrist, pulling me forward. My balance faltered instantly, my steps clumsy and jerky. I nearly tripped, my arms flailing for balance. Elena laughed softly, shaking her head. "Pathetic. You look like a boy trapped in a girl's skin. Back straight, hips loose, one foot in front of the other." She placed her hands firmly on my waist, adjusting me like a doll, forcing my posture to curve, my hips to sway. My face burned hot with shame, but under her grip, my body obeyed. "Better," she purred. Again. I walked the length of the room, each step awkward but smoother than the last. My heart pounded with every movement, the silky fabric brushing against me, the strange weight on my chest bouncing slightly, the humiliating awareness of just how feminine I looked. When I reached the mirror again, I froze. I didn't see a boy fumbling in borrowed clothes. I saw a girl, shy and fragile, dressed in lace and silk, her movements uncertain but undeniably feminine. And God help me, for the first time, I almost believed it. "Good," Elena said, stepping behind me, her eyes gleaming. "That's enough for now. Tomorrow, we'll try makeup." My stomach dropped again. Makeup. Outfits. More lessons. "Please," I whispered, tears slipping down my cheeks. "I don't want this." Her hand slid up, brushing a tear away almost gently. Her tone softened, though her eyes never lost their hunger for control. "You don't have to want it," she murmured. "You just have to become it." Her reflection towered behind mine, smirking in the mirror as I stood there trembling in lace. And deep inside me, a horrifying truth whispered back, "I already am." The protagonist is forced into lingerie and taught the first humiliating steps of femininity. Though he resists, he cannot deny how convincing he looks in the mirror, and Elena knows she has begun to break him. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the reflection in the mirror. The girl in silk lingerie, her body trembling, her lips parted in confusion and shame. The girl who looked nothing like me, and yet was me. When the morning sun seeped through the curtains, I was still sitting curled up on the bed, arms wrapped tightly around my knees, the silky fabric against my skin a constant reminder of what I had become. The door opened without warning. Elena stepped in carrying a long garment bag. Her smile was too bright, too rehearsed, like a stage performer ready to unveil her next act. "Good morning, sweetheart," she sang, dropping the bag onto the chair. "Don't call me that," I snapped, though my voice shook, still high and soft, still wrong. She ignored me, unzipping the bag. My stomach lurched when I saw what was inside, a pale blue dress, delicate and flowing, with lace at the sleeves and a ribbon belt at the waist. Matching heels gleamed beneath it. My heart plummeted.
No.
"No, I'm not wearing that." "Yes, you are." Her tone was calm, but beneath it was steel. The lingerie was just the beginning. "Today, we're going further." I shook my head violently. "I won't. You can't make me." Her eyes narrowed. She stepped closer, lowering her voice into a deadly whisper. "Do you want me to open this door and call your mother? Tell her to come see her beautiful daughter?" Ice filled my veins. "She'd never believe you," Elena continued. "No one would. Not when you look like this." She reached out, brushing a lock of my longer hair behind my ear, her touch deceptively gentle. They'd only see the pretty girl standing in front of them, not the boy you used to be. Tears welled in my eyes. She had me cornered again. I let her guide me into the dress. The fabric slid down over my body, soft and weightless, hugging curves I was still not used to. The ribbon belt cinched around my narrow waist, emphasizing the shape I couldn't deny. Then the heels. Elena crouched, slipping them onto my feet like a cruel parody of a fairy tale. Except instead of a prince saving me, it was my cousin binding me tighter to this nightmare. When I stood, I nearly toppled over. The unfamiliar height made my balance wobble, my knees trembling. Elena laughed softly, clapping her hands once in delight. "Perfect. Now walk for me." I stumbled forward, arms flailing. The heels clicked against the floor, each step a humiliating struggle. "Slower," Elena instructed. "Back straight. Hips relaxed. Let the dress flow." I tried again, every movement awkward, but the dress swayed around my legs, betraying a softness I couldn't escape. When I caught sight of myself in the mirror, my breath caught in my throat. The girl staring back wasn't in lingerie this time. She was dressed, styled, complete. A young woman in a delicate blue dress, hair framing her flushed face, heels clicking beneath her. And she was beautiful. "No," I whispered, shaking my head. "That's not me. That's not me." But even as I said it, I couldn't look away. Elena came up behind me, resting her chin on my shoulder, her smile reflected in the mirror. "You're starting to see it, aren't you?" she murmured. "You're not just wearing a dress. You are the dress. You are the girl." I shook violently, tears spilling down my cheeks. "Please stop.
I don't want this."
I just want to be me again." Her arms slid around me from behind, her grip tight, possessive. "You're still you. Just a better version. A prettier version. And soon everyone will see." Her words sent a chill down my spine. "Everyone," I echoed, horrified. Elena smirked. She walked to the window and yanked the curtains open, flooding the room with daylight. The neighborhood stretched outside. Houses, people walking their dogs, kids riding bikes. My blood ran cold. "What are you doing?" I hissed, ducking away from the light. "Testing you," she said casually. "Maybe I'll have you step outside. Just for a moment." Imagine it, the neighbors waving hello, not realizing they're greeting my cousin, but instead thinking you're just another girl. "No," I screamed, panic exploding inside me. My knees buckled, and I fell to the floor, clutching the hem of the dress desperately, as if holding it down could hide me. "Please, Elena, don't. I'll do whatever you want, just don't make me go out there." She crouched in front of me, tilting her head, studying my tear-streaked face. For a moment, there was silence. Then she reached out, wiping a tear away with her thumb. "Good," she whispered. "Now you're ready to learn." The protagonist is fully dressed and heels-bound for the first time. Elena escalates by threatening public exposure, breaking his resistance further. He caves completely, begging her for mercy, which only deepens her control. The next morning, I woke up already afraid. I had slept in the blue dress because Elena hadn't allowed me to take it off. The fabric clung to me, wrinkled from tossing in restless dreams. My legs ached from the heels she'd forced me to practice in. When I glanced at the mirror across the room, I almost screamed again, because for a split second, I didn't recognize the girl staring back at me. That girl looked exhausted, mascara smudged under her eyes from crying, her hair a tangled mess falling across her cheeks. But she was still unmistakably feminine. And seeing her instead of the boy I used to be made my stomach twist with dread. The door opened. Elena walked in carrying a small silver case. She set it down on the vanity with a soft click, then turned to me with a smile far too sweet for what I knew was coming.
Up, she said.
I hesitated. Please, not today. I can't. Her expression hardened instantly.
Up. Now.
Something in her tone left no room for defiance. Slowly, trembling, I slid off the bed and stood, the hem of the dress brushing against my thighs. The heels made me wobble, forcing me to clutch the bedpost to steady myself. Good girl, Elena said softly, her words like poison wrapped in honey. The phrase burned. I wanted to scream that I wasn't a girl, that this was all wrong. But the truth caught in my throat, bitter and suffocating. She guided me to the vanity and pushed me gently into the chair. The silver case sat before me like a treasure chest. My reflection stared back from the mirror, wide-eyed and terrified, as Elena unlatched the case and opened it. Inside lay an array of colors, brushes, powders, and tubes, makeup, neatly organized, shimmering in the light. No, I whispered, shaking my head. Please, not this. Elena leaned down, her lips grazing my ear. This is the most important step. Clothes can be taken off. Heels can be kicked aside. But once I paint your face, once you see how perfect you can be, you'll never be able to forget it. I shuddered, tears threatening to spill. Elena, please. She ignored me, picking up a brush. Hold still. The first touch was alien, the soft sweep of foundation across my skin. It was cool, almost soothing, but the sensation made my stomach knot. She worked methodically, covering every trace of the boy I used to be. My jawline blurred softer. My complexion evened out, pale and flawless. Look at that skin, she murmured. You were wasted as a boy. This is perfection. I gritted my teeth, but her words lodged inside me like thorns. Then came the eyeshadow, a soft shimmer of pink and gold, brushed onto lids that fluttered helplessly under her control. Stop squirming, she chided, tilting my chin. Do you want me to stab you in the eye? Tears welled, but I obeyed, sitting rigid as her fingers guided me. Mascara lengthened my lashes. Eyeliner traced delicate lines that transformed my gaze. My own eyes stared back, but framed in a way that made them striking. Feminine. Almost alluring. My lips trembled as she held up the lipstick. A deep, glossy red. No, I whispered again, my voice cracking. Not that. Please. Her smile widened. Oh, especially this. The cold stick pressed against my mouth, dragging color across skin that felt like it no longer belonged to me. She tilted my chin upward, forcing me to hold still as she filled in every curve. When she leaned back, satisfied, I gasped. Because the girl in the mirror wasn't just feminine anymore. She was beautiful. My eyes were wide, lashes dark and full. My cheeks glowed faintly with blush. My lips were bold, red, undeniably kissable. The transformation was terrifyingly complete. That's not me, I whispered, shaking my head. That's not me. Elena's hands came down onto my shoulders, holding me in place. It is you. And it always was. You just couldn't see it until I showed you. I shook violently, tears spilling down my painted cheeks, streaking faint trails through the makeup. But even through the tears, the reflection held, still pretty, still feminine, still not the boy I remembered. Smile, Elena ordered. What? Smile. Like a good girl. I won't. Her nails dug into my shoulder, sharp enough to sting. Do it. My lips quivered, then slowly curved upward in a fragile, trembling smile. Elena's eyes glittered with triumph. She pulled out her phone and snapped a picture before I could react. The click of the camera made my blood run cold. "What are you doing?" I gasped. "Keeping memories," she said sweetly. "So you can look back and see how far you've come. Don't worry, I won't show anyone yet." The unspoken threat hung heavy in the air. When she finally stepped back, arms folded, she studied me with satisfaction.
"Perfect," she said again.
"But we're not done. Stand up." I obeyed reluctantly, the heels clicking as I rose. "Now, soften your movements.
"Tilt your head when you speak."
Let your hands flutter, not hang. And that voice of yours? Too stiff. Soften it. Higher, sweeter." "I can't," I whispered, my throat tight. "Yes, you can. Say, 'I'm pretty.'" My entire body froze.
"No."
Her eyes hardened. "Say it." Tears blurred my vision. I can't." Her hand cupped my cheek, deceptively tender, her thumb smudging the lipstick she'd painted. "Say it, or I'll walk you straight outside right now and let the whole world see you." My breath hitched. The thought of stepping into the daylight like this, of neighbors and strangers seeing this painted, dressed, broken version of me, my knees gave way. My voice cracked. "I'm pretty." The words felt like poison. But in the mirror, the girl blushed, lips painted red, eyes shimmering with tears. And she was pretty. Elena smiled like a queen watching her subject bow. Again. "I'm pretty." Louder. "I'm pretty." And with each repetition, a piece of me crumbled. The protagonist is fully made up for the first time, forced to repeat humiliating affirmations. Though he resists, the mirror shows him a version of himself that's undeniably beautiful. Elena cements another layer of control by breaking his voice, his gestures, and his pride. Elena didn't give me a chance to wipe the tears or the smeared lipstick from my face. She snapped her fingers sharply.
"Stand."
"Straighten your back." I obeyed, trembling, the heels digging into my feet like punishment. Her eyes flicked over me critically, like an artist examining a half-finished statue. "Your body is still stiff. Too masculine. If you're going to be my doll, you must learn to move as one." "My doll?" I whispered, horrified. She smiled, slow and deliberate.
"Exactly."
"That's all you are now. A doll for me to dress, paint, and pose. And you'll be beautiful only when I allow it." Her words struck like a whip. I wanted to shout, to deny it, but my throat closed up. She walked around me in slow circles, heels clicking against the floor like a predator stalking its prey. Then, suddenly, she grabbed my wrist and positioned it delicately at my hip. Her other hand tilted my chin upward.
"There," she said.
"Much better."
"You're a mannequin now."
"But mannequins don't slouch." I stiffened, shoulders back, chest rising against the tight fabric of the dress. Elena snapped another picture with her phone. The flash lit up the room, and with it, a new humiliation sank into me. "Next pose," she commanded. She stepped closer, arranging my arms as if I were a puppet. One hand fluttering at my collarbone, the other brushing the hem of the dress. Then she pulled my lips into a faint, coy smile with her thumb. "Perfect," she whispered, almost lovingly. I looked in the mirror. The girl staring back was posing like a fashion model, expression shy yet inviting. My stomach twisted violently. That wasn't me. It couldn't be me. And yet, the camera's click told me it was now captured forever. "Elena, please stop this," I begged. "I can't." "You can," she interrupted. Her voice was iron-wrapped in velvet. "You will." For the next hour, she made me practice. Shoulders softer. Head tilt more. Let your hair fall. Smile. Wider. No, not forced, delicate, like you're hiding a secret. Hands. Don't let them hang like a man. Fingers soft, fluttery, almost weightless. Each correction chipped away at me. Every time I stumbled or hesitated, her grip tightened, her tone sharpened. By the time she made me pose sitting on the edge of the bed, legs crossed, chin tucked, I felt hollow, like I was dissolving into this painted creature she was constructing. Then came the voice. "Speak," she ordered. "What should I?" "Wrong." She snapped her fingers. "Too flat." "Higher."
Softer.
"Sing-song." "Try again." My throat burned as I forced my words lighter. "What should I say?" A cruel smile curved her lips. "Say, I'm your pretty doll." My entire body stiffened.
No.
Her eyes narrowed. She lifted her phone and held it threateningly. "Say it or the pictures go out. Everyone will see." Ice rushed through my veins. The thought of those photos of friends, family, strangers seeing me like this, I broke. I'm your pretty doll," I whispered. Louder. "I'm your pretty doll." Again. "I'm your pretty doll." The words echoed in my skull, leaving me trembling, humiliated, and utterly defeated. When she finally lowered her phone, I thought it was over. But then Elena tilted her head, eyes narrowing, studying me like I was some fragile artwork. "You know," she said softly, "you're breathtaking when you blush like that." Her words hit harder than the orders. For the first time, I glanced at the mirror without wanting to look away. And that's when I felt it, something I couldn't control. For the briefest moment, I noticed the curve of my lips painted red, the delicate line of my lashes, the way the dress hugged my figure. The girl in the mirror looked pretty. A flicker of pride, sharp and terrifying, sparked inside me. "No," I whispered, shaking my head violently. "That's not me. That's not me." But the mirror didn't lie. And Elena's satisfied smirk told me she knew exactly what had just happened. The protagonist, broken under Elena's pressure, begins to adopt her feminine poses and voice. Though humiliated, he accidentally experiences the first dangerous spark of pride in his new appearance. Elena notices, and that realization gives her even greater power. The next morning, I woke up hoping, praying, that it had all been a nightmare. But the lipstick stains still smudged across my pillow, the ache in my feet from the heels, and the silky nightdress clinging to my body reminded me it was all real. Before I could even sit up, Elena strode into the room carrying 2 shopping bags. Her grin was razor-sharp. "Rise and shine, doll. We've got a busy day." My stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" She tossed the bags onto the bed. Lingerie spilled out. A red lace bra and panties, stockings, a garter belt. Then a series of dresses, short, sparkly, and far too revealing. "We're doing a photo shoot," she said simply. "Full glam. Outfits, makeup, poses. Think of it as practice." "No," I said firmly, though my voice cracked with fear. "Elena, please, I can't do this." Her expression hardened instantly. "You can. And you will. Unless, of course." She waved her phone in front of me, scrolling through the gallery filled with last night's humiliating photos. "You prefer I send these to your little study group chat?" Ice flooded through me. My friends. My reputation. Everything would shatter. My voice broke into a whisper. "I'll do it." "Good girl," she purred. Elena didn't let me dress myself. She insisted on handling every piece, every strap, every buckle. She slid the lace panties up my trembling legs, clipped the garter belt around my slimmed waist, tugged the stockings until they smoothed perfectly. When she clasped the red bra around my chest, my face burned so hot, I thought I'd faint. The cups were filled with subtle inserts, pushing up a cleavage that shouldn't exist, but did. "There," she murmured, adjusting the straps. My perfect little canvas. I wanted to cry. But the moment I caught my reflection in the mirror, delicate, vulnerable, wrapped in red lace, my breath hitched. It was obscene, humiliating, beautiful. The makeup came next. Elena worked with ruthless precision, layering foundation, sculpting my cheeks, sweeping bold red lipstick across my lips to match the lingerie. Then came the wig. Long, glossy black waves cascading down my shoulders. By the time she was done, I barely recognized myself. "Stand up," she ordered. "Let's begin." The first round of photos were simple. Me standing against the wall, clutching the straps of the lingerie shyly, eyes cast down. "Look more innocent," Elena instructed. "Like you're too shy to show your body."
Click.
Now playful. "Bite your lip. Tilt your hip."
Click. Better.
"Oh, you're learning so fast."
Click. Click. Click.
Each snap of the camera felt like a nail sealing my coffin. But worse, somewhere deep inside, a twisted part of me craved her praise. It didn't stop there. Elena made me change into dress after dress. Tight black satin, a glittering silver mini, even a soft pink sundress paired with white heels. Every time I resisted, she snapped her fingers and reminded me of the pictures. And every time I obeyed, she rewarded me with words that cut like sugar-coated knives. Beautiful. Stunning. My perfect girl. By the third outfit, I found myself moving into poses before she even commanded them. The thought horrified me, but Elena noticed. And she loved it. Finally, she took me to the window. "Elena, no," I begged, panic spiking in my chest. "Someone might see." "That's the point," she said sweetly. "Hold the curtain just a little. Let the world catch a glimpse of my doll." My hands shook violently as I obeyed. I stood in the golden sunlight, dress shimmering, lips painted red, hair cascading down my shoulders. For a terrifying moment, I looked radiant. The camera clicked again, and again. And then, without warning, Elena tapped her screen and sent a photo. I froze. "What did you just do?" She smirked, tucking her phone away. "Just one picture. Don't worry, I was careful." I blurred your face. "Who did you send it to?" I demanded, my voice cracking into a panicked shriek. Her smirk widened into something cruel. "A friend."
A boy.
"I want to see how he reacts." My entire body went cold. The humiliating photo shoot pushes the protagonist deeper into feminization. Despite shame, he begins responding to Elena's praise. But the biggest blow comes when Elena actually sends a picture, hinting that his secret is no longer safe. The silence in the room stretched forever. I stood frozen in the glittering dress, my heart pounding so hard it hurt. Elena was still smiling, casually scrolling her phone. "Relax," she said lightly. "It's just one photo. And remember, your face isn't even visible. All he'll see is a gorgeous girl in a dress." I swallowed hard, voice trembling. Who did you send it to?" She glanced up, smirk curling across her lips. "A boy from campus. You don't know him. But he's cute. I wanted to test something." My stomach lurched. "Test what?" Her eyes glittered with cruel amusement. "How convincing you are." I wanted to scream, to rip the phone from her hands, to end this nightmare. But before I could, her phone buzzed. She looked down, then burst into laughter. "Oh, this is priceless." "What?" My voice cracked with panic. She turned the screen toward me. My lungs collapsed. A text from the boy glowed across the screen. "Damn, she's gorgeous."
Who is she?
"Can I get her number?" I staggered back, clutching the curtain for balance. "No," I whispered. He thinks I'm a girl." Elena finished for me, her tone sweet as poison. She stepped closer, tapping my nose like I was a child.
"He's not wrong, doll."
"Look at you. Lace, lipstick, long legs. What else could you be?" Tears blurred my vision. "This isn't me, Elena. It's fake. It's all fake." "Fake," she repeated, almost offended. "That boy doesn't think so. And tell me, isn't there a tiny part of you that likes being seen as beautiful?" Her words cut deep. Because the truth, the horrifying, shameful truth, was that my stomach had flipped at the compliment. A stranger, completely unaware of my real identity, thought I was beautiful. And for a fleeting second, I liked it. Elena leaned in close, her breath warm against my ear. "Do you know what this means? You could walk outside right now and no one would ever know. They'd smile, they'd stare, they'd call you pretty, and they'd believe it." "No," my knees weakened, collapsing me onto the edge of the bed. I can't do that." "Oh, you can," she said firmly. "And you will." Her hand gripped my chin, forcing me to look at her. You're going to practice walking outside. Just a little trip. If you can fool a stranger in a picture, let's see if you can do it in the real world. My entire body went cold. Outside. Yes, she said, grinning. Outside. In heels. In a dress. Tonight. I shook my head violently, panic crashing over me like a wave. No. Elena, please, I can't. What if someone recognizes me? What if? Her phone dangled in front of my face, the photo glowing on screen. Do you want me to send this to your family group chat? Or maybe your classmates? Because that's the only other option. My blood ran cold.
Trapped.
Again. Hours later, as the sun began to dip, Elena pulled me to the front door. My legs trembled in the black satin dress she'd chosen, my feet unsteady in tall heels. The cool evening air rushed in as she opened the door. Just a short walk, she whispered, her voice both commanding and mocking. Down the street. Smile if someone looks. And remember, every step is a test. Fail, and the world finds out who you really are. I clutched the doorframe, heart hammering in my chest. The world outside felt like a stage. And I was about to walk on it, not as me, but as her doll. The stranger's compliment shatters the protagonist's resistance. He realizes the disguise is convincing. Elena seizes on this, forcing him to take his first terrifying steps outside as a girl, dangling exposure as the punishment if he resists. The door swung open, and the evening air hit my skin like ice. I froze on the threshold, clutching the frame with trembling hands. The quiet suburban street stretched before me, a few neighbors tending gardens, a man walking his dog, the faint hum of traffic at the corner. Ordinary life. And yet, to me, it felt like a stage lit by 1,000 spotlights. I wasn't me anymore. I was a girl in a black satin dress, heels clicking nervously against the doorway. Elena, I whispered, my throat dry. I can't do this. She leaned close, her nails grazing my bare arm. You already are. Now walk. My legs felt like jelly as I stepped onto the pavement. The heels wobbled beneath me, each step uncertain. My heart pounded so loudly, I was sure everyone could hear it. Posture. Elena hissed behind me. Chin up. Shoulders back. Swing your hips no softer. You're gliding, not stomping. I tried. God, I tried. Every step felt like a disaster. But in the corner of my eye, I saw a woman across the street glance up. Her eyes lingered for a second. And then she smiled. My breath caught. She thought I was just another girl. We reached the corner store, a tiny shop with flickering neon lights. Elena's grip tightened around my wrist. Inside, she ordered. Panic shot through me.
No.
Not there, Elena, please, someone will talk to me, they'll know. Exactly, she whispered. That's the test.
Go in.
Buy something. Say thank you. If you fail, well, she tapped her phone in her pocket. You know the consequences. My stomach churned violently, but she shoved me forward. The bell above the door jingled as I stepped inside. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. My reflection flashed across the glass cooler doors, long hair brushing my shoulders, legs pale against the short hem of the dress, lipstick gleaming. I looked like a stranger. Behind the counter, the clerk glanced up. A boy, maybe 19, with messy hair and earbuds dangling. His gaze flicked over me, bored at first, then sharpened. His lips curved into a small smile. Heat rushed through me.
He saw me. But not as me.
As her. I grabbed the first thing I could, a bottle of water, and shuffled to the counter, heels clicking too loudly on the linoleum. My hands trembled as I set it down. The boy scanned it, his eyes never leaving my face. That'll be $1. I fumbled with the coins Elena had shoved into my hand, my heart hammering. Thank you, I whispered. My voice cracked but stayed high soft. Feminine. And then it happened. No problem, he said, flashing me a grin. Have a good night, pretty. The words slammed into me like a punch.
Pretty.
I stumbled out of the store, cheeks blazing, legs weak. Elena was waiting just outside, arms folded, smirk wide. Well, she purred. Look at you. blushing like a schoolgirl. He called you pretty, didn't he? I couldn't speak. My lips parted, but no sound came. Because she was right. And the worst part was a tiny, shameful part of me had liked it. Back at the house, Elena pulled me inside and shut the door behind us. I collapsed onto the couch, covering my face with shaking hands. Elena, this has to stop, I begged, my voice breaking. I'm losing myself. People believe it. I don't even know who I am anymore. She crouched in front of me, her eyes glowing with twisted triumph.
Exactly.
That's the point. Her fingers tilted my chin upward. Every step, every look, every compliment chips away at the boy you were. Soon, there will be nothing left but her. The protagonist's first public outing is a success. No one suspects the truth. But being called pretty by a stranger shakes him to the core, planting a seed of dangerous, addictive validation. Elena knows it, and she'll use it to push him even further. When I woke the next morning, sunlight spilled across the room in golden streaks, warm but almost mocking in its clarity. My first instinct was to stretch, yet when my arms moved, the soft swell of my chest pressed against the blanket, reminding me I couldn't even pretend yesterday had been a dream. My breath hitched, and for a brief second, I shut my eyes tight, praying that maybe if I ignored it long enough, I'd feel my flat chest again, my deeper voice, my body as it was supposed to be. But when I finally forced myself to stand, padding barefoot across the floor toward the full-length mirror, there was no denying it. She was there again. Not me. Not the boy I used to be. But her. The girl with trembling lips, oversized eyes framed by messy strands of hair that still glistened from last night's wash, a fragile softness in every angle of her face. My hips curved. My waist pinched. My thighs brushed slightly when I shifted. I gripped the sides of the dresser, my nails, longer now, rounded and faintly pink, tapping against the wood. No, this isn't me. My voice cracked, light and fragile, the sound so foreign that it broke something inside me. That was when Melissa appeared in the doorway, a mug of coffee in her hand, watching me with a calmness that felt rehearsed. It suits you, she said softly, as though she'd been waiting for this moment. Every day you wake up and hate it a little less. I turned sharply, anger trying to surface, but it was a thin veil, breaking almost immediately under the weight of her words. You did this to me, I whispered, my throat dry. You gave me that serum. You made you see yourself, she finished, walking closer. Her tone was both soothing and sharp, a velvet knife. She set the mug down and stood behind me, her hands resting lightly on my shoulders. Look at her.
Look at you.
You're beautiful. Isn't that worth something? I wanted to scream. I wanted to shove her away. But as her fingers traced the delicate curve of my collarbone, my reflection betrayed me. Because for a heartbeat, just one fragile, shameful heartbeat, I did see beauty. A stranger's beauty. My cheeks warmed. My lips parted. No, stop, I muttered, pulling back, but my body felt sluggish, torn between rejection and an aching pull I couldn't name. Melissa tilted her head, her smile slow, deliberate. It's happening faster than I thought. The serum works, but it's the mind that seals the change. You'll understand soon. The mirror caught the tremble in my jaw, the way my eyes welled. And I hated that part of me, the part that leaned closer, searching for traces of the boy I used to be, only to find less and less each time. And for the first time since this nightmare began, a thought whispered through me like poison, impossible to shake. What if he's already gone? The first thing I noticed when my eyes blinked open wasn't the sun streaming in through the curtains. It wasn't the warmth of the blanket cocooned around me. It was weight, subtle but undeniable, on my chest, pressing against the sheets. Something soft, foreign, and terrifyingly alive. For one blessed second, I thought I was still dreaming, that the serum's curse was nothing more than a nightmare. But when I sat up, the cover slipped, and reality hit like a punch to the gut. Two small mounds rose beneath the thin tank top Melissa had given me last night. They shifted with my breathing, delicate and wrong, tugging me into a body I didn't recognize. "No," I croaked, my voice cracking in a pitch that wasn't mine. My throat tightened, and I scrambled out of bed, bare feet hitting the cool wooden floor. Each step felt unsteady, too light, as if the ground itself mocked the absence of who I had been. I found myself standing in front of the full-length mirror. I hadn't dared look at it since everything changed. But this morning, I couldn't avoid it. The girl staring back at me made my stomach twist. She looked around my age, maybe 19 or 20, with messy, shoulder-length hair that clung to her neck, skin pale but smooth, lips soft and naturally pink. Her eyes were wide, framed by long lashes I never remembered having. I blinked. She blinked. I touched my cheek. She touched hers. It wasn't me. And yet it was. A whimper escaped before I could stop it. My reflection was fragile, feminine, almost beautiful. And that terrified me more than anything. No, this isn't real," I whispered, gripping the dresser until my knuckles turned white. "I'm not her. I'm not." My words broke apart, because hearing my own voice, the higher, softer tone, only deepened the nightmare. "Still fighting it, I see." Melissa's voice slid into the room like a silk ribbon pulled tight. I turned sharply, nearly stumbling. She stood in the doorway, holding a steaming mug of coffee, her expression maddeningly calm. Her robe clung loosely around her, but her eyes, sharp and deliberate, were focused entirely on me. "Melissa," my throat burned. "You did this. You gave me that serum. You made you see yourself," she interrupted smoothly, crossing the room. Her words cut through mine with cruel precision. She set the mug down on the nightstand and came to stand behind me. "Look at her," she whispered, her hands resting gently on my trembling shoulders. "Look at you. Do you see how much softer you are already? How much prettier?" Her grip was light, almost affectionate, but the weight of it made me shiver. I tried to pull away, but my gaze remained glued to the mirror, to her, the stranger whose reflection had replaced mine. "I don't want this," I said, but my voice broke. It sounded less like defiance and more like a plea. Melissa tilted her head, studying me with maddening patience. "Don't you?" she asked quietly, her lips curving in a smile that was neither cruel nor kind. Something in between, something manipulative. "Last night, you didn't hate the dress I gave you as much as you pretended. You kept looking at yourself when you thought I wasn't watching. And right now," she leaned in, her breath warm against my ear, "you can't stop staring." My chest tightened. She was right. I hated her for being right. The reflection in the mirror showed a girl, nervous, trembling, yet undeniably delicate. I wanted to smash the glass, to shatter her into pieces, so I could find the boy beneath. But the longer I looked, the harder it was to remember him.
His jawline.
His shoulders. His voice. Each detail slipped further away, replaced by this unwanted softness. Tears welled in my eyes. I raised a hand to wipe them, but the girl in the mirror only looked weaker, more vulnerable, as if crying suited her too well. Melissa's hand slid down my arms, her tone low and velvety. "It's happening faster than I thought. The serum changes the body, but it's the mind that decides whether the transformation lasts. And yours," she chuckled softly, the sound both sweet and cruel. "Yours is already surrendering." "No," I whispered fiercely, though my voice quivered. "I'm not giving in. I'm still me. I'm still." But the name caught in my throat, saying it felt wrong, like it belonged to someone else. Melissa's smile widened, as if she'd been waiting for that exact moment. She reached up and gently tucked a strand of hair behind my ear.
"See?
Even your old name doesn't fit anymore." I shook my head violently, pulling away. "Stop it. Just stop." But when I looked back into the mirror, my denial cracked. For just one heartbeat, I didn't see a stranger. I saw someone fragile but alluring. Someone who could be called pretty. Someone who might, even if dressed and painted just right, be beautiful. And that thought, that poisonous, shameful thought, made my knees weaken. Melissa caught me as I staggered, studying me like I was a delicate doll. "There it is," she whispered, her voice thick with satisfaction. "The first spark of acceptance. Don't be ashamed, darling. It's natural to want to belong to the body you're in. And the more you fight me, the deeper you'll fall." Her words slithered around me, and for the first time, I couldn't deny the truth in them. Because what terrified me most wasn't her control. It wasn't even the serum. It was me. The part of me that leaned toward the mirror. The part that wanted to hear her call me pretty again. And as Melissa's hands lingered at my waist, the girl in the reflection stared back with wide, tearful eyes, her lips trembling with the same unspoken question clawing through my mind. What if he's already gone? The house had become a prison, but at least it was a private one. For days, Melissa had kept me inside her walls, training me piece by piece. Makeup lessons disguised as practice sessions. Voice drills where she'd force me to repeat simple sentences until I sounded passably feminine. Walking lessons in heels down her hallway, while she clapped like a teacher guiding a stubborn student. Each time I failed, she'd tut and shake her head, her words laced with false sympathy. "No one will believe you're a real girl if you slouch like that." Or, "Darling, that voice will give you away instantly, again." Every correction chipped at me. Every smirk of hers tightened the invisible chains I couldn't break. But nothing compared to the morning she walked into my room holding a floral dress in one hand and a small purse in the other. "Get dressed," she said simply, tossing the outfit onto the bed. I froze.
What? Why?
"I don't." Her eyes gleamed with satisfaction. "Because we're going out today." My chest tightened.
Out?
"You mean?" "To the mall," she finished, her tone light, casual, as though she hadn't just set my world on fire. "I've decided you're ready for a test run. Don't worry, we'll keep it simple. A little shopping, a little walking around. If you pass, maybe even a coffee." "No," my voice cracked, but I tried again. "No, I can't."
People will see me.
"They'll know." Melissa tilted her head, her smirk growing sharper. "See what? A shy but pretty girl out with her friend? Or a nervous little boy in a stolen body? That's up to you." Her words were a trap, one I couldn't escape. I wanted to scream, to refuse. But the serum had already stolen so much. My face, my voice, my very reflection. And Melissa held every key. My hands shook as I picked up the dress. Soft cotton, pale pink with delicate white flowers scattered across it. Feminine to the point of cruelty. My throat ached as I slipped it over my head, feeling the fabric cling to my waist, my hips. Melissa watched from the doorway, arms folded, every inch the puppeteer watching her marionette perform. "Perfect," she murmured when I finally turned, the skirt brushing just above my knees. "Now sit. Let me finish you." The makeup brush glided over my cheeks, mascara lengthening lashes that already looked too long. Lip gloss tinted my mouth a soft rose. By the time she was done, the mirror confirmed the lie. A delicate girl sat where I should have been. Melissa clapped her hands once. "Time to go." The ride there was torture. I pressed myself against the car door, staring out at the streets, my heart pounding so loudly it drowned out Melissa's humming beside me. When we pulled into the parking lot, my stomach lurched. "Melissa, please," I whispered, gripping her sleeve. "I'm not ready."
They'll see.
"They'll laugh." Her gaze softened, falsely. She brushed a thumb along my cheek as though comforting me. "Darling, they'll only see what I've made you. Trust me." And with that, she led me inside. The mall was alive with noise and light. Every step felt like walking on glass. My heels clicked against the tiles, echoing too loudly, as though calling attention to me. My hands clutched the purse Melissa had forced on me, my shoulders tense beneath the stares I imagined from every passerby. "Relax," Melissa whispered, her arm looping through mine. "You're just another girl. No one cares." But I cared. Every giggle from a group of teenagers felt aimed at me. Every glance from strangers burned like fire. My throat tightened when we passed a group of guys leaning near the escalator. One of them looked straight at me and smiled. My cheeks flamed, and I ducked my head. Melissa chuckled softly.
See?
They believe it already.
They don't see Alex.
They see her. Her. The word rang in my ears like a cruel joke. We stopped at a clothing store, and Melissa dragged me inside. Before I could protest, she had me in a fitting room with armfuls of skirts and blouses. Each outfit was worse than the last, tight, frilly, designed to humiliate me further. And each time I stepped out, Melissa would tilt her head, pretending to appraise, while the other shoppers glanced our way. At one point, a saleswoman beamed at me. "You look adorable. That color really suits you." I froze, unable to answer. Melissa filled the silence smoothly. "Doesn't she? She's still getting used to compliments." The woman laughed lightly. "Oh, I remember that age. She's going to break hearts, this one." The words sank like poison, and Melissa's hand squeezed mine just enough to remind me I couldn't run. After 2 hours of torture, Melissa steered me into a cafe. The line was short, but each second felt endless. My reflection in the glass case mocked me, a girl shifting nervously in her seat, hands tucked in her lap. When the barista asked for our order, Melissa nudged me. I froze. My voice. What if it cracked? What if it betrayed me? The barista waited, polite smile fading into impatience. Melissa's nails dug lightly into my thigh beneath the table, a warning. I swallowed hard. A vanilla latte, please," I whispered, the pitch just high enough. The barista didn't blink. He just nodded, tapped the order in, and handed me a receipt. My heart pounded so hard I nearly fainted. Melissa leaned close, her whisper sharp and smug.
"See?
You passed. They all believe you're her. And you know what's worse, darling?" I turned toward her, my chest aching. "You're starting to believe it too." The chapter ends with Alex sitting in the cafe, latte trembling in his hands, staring out at the crowd. For the first time, the question in his chest isn't what if they find out? It's what if they never do? I thought the mall would haunt me forever. The stares, the compliments, the suffocating lie Melissa had forced me into, every second was branded onto my skin. By the time we returned to the house, my body ached from the tension. I collapsed onto the bed, still in the pink dress, my heels discarded on the floor. I told myself I hated it, that the humiliation would never leave me. But when my mind replayed the barista handing me my latte with an indifferent smile, treating me like any other girl, my stomach flipped in a way I couldn't explain. It wasn't disgust. It wasn't fear. It was something far more dangerous. Melissa, of course, noticed immediately. She always noticed. That evening, as I sat at the vanity she'd set up for me, its surface littered with lip glosses and foundation bottles, she leaned against the doorway, arms folded. "You're quiet," she said softly. "Different." I stiffened, brushing powder across my cheek with clumsy hands. "I'm just tired." Her smirk curved.
"No."
"You're thinking about how it felt. The mall. The compliments. That little thrill when the saleswoman called you adorable." Heat rushed to my face. I slammed the brush down, whirling toward her. I wasn't thrilled. I was humiliated. Melissa strolled in, her heels clicking softly. "Humiliation and pleasure live very close together, darling. Don't lie to me." I swallowed hard, heart hammering. She stopped behind me, resting her hands on the back of the chair. Her reflection loomed over mine in the mirror. I hated that she looked so composed, so confident, while I sat trembling in the delicate dress she'd chosen. "You looked beautiful today," she murmured. "Did you hear how easily they believed it? You didn't even have to try. They accepted you instantly. Isn't that what you always wanted? To disappear? To be someone else?" Her words sliced through me, because once, long before all this, I had wished to escape myself, to be invisible, to shed the weight of being Alex, the awkward boy no one noticed. And now here I was, noticed by everyone, but for all the wrong reasons. The next day, Melissa pushed me further. "We need groceries," she announced with false casualness. My stomach dropped.
"No."
Not again. But within an hour, I was back in the car, dressed in jeans that hugged my hips too tightly and a blouse that bared my collarbones. My reflection in the side mirror made me want to shrink into the seat. At the store, I clung to Melissa's side like a shadow. Every aisle felt like a stage. Every glance from strangers felt loaded. And then it happened. A boy, probably in his early 20s, walked past us, his cart rattling with soda and snacks. His eyes lingered on me for half a second too long. Then he smiled. Not the mocking grin I expected. A real smile.
Warm.
Appreciative. I froze. My breath caught. My face burned. Melissa's hand pressed gently against the small of my back, guiding me forward. "Keep walking," she whispered, voice silky. "But don't pretend you didn't like that." I couldn't speak. My pulse roared in my ears. Because for one terrifying moment, I had liked it. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, the boy's smile replaying again and again. My chest tightened every time. Melissa slipped into the room without knocking, as always. She perched on the edge of my bed, studying me with those sharp, knowing eyes. "You felt it," she said softly. Not a question. A statement. I turned away.
No.
Her fingers brushed a strand of hair from my face. "Don't deny it. That spark, the rush of being seen as desirable. You're not fighting it anymore. You're savoring it." Tears pricked my eyes. "I don't want this." "I don't want to," my voice broke. "To like it." Melissa leaned closer, her whisper threading into my thoughts like poison and silk all at once. "But you do. And the more you do, the less Alex survives. That's the beauty of it." My chest ached, as if the words had been carved into me. Because deep inside, beneath the shame and fear, a dangerous truth flickered. She was right. And the realization terrified me more than the serum ever had. I used to keep a notebook by my bed. It was stupid, really just a cheap, spiral-bound thing where I'd scribble reminders, thoughts, even half-formed dreams. Back when I was Alex, I never left home without it. Tonight, I found myself staring at its blank pages, pen in hand, and I couldn't remember what my handwriting was supposed to look like. I pressed the pen down anyway, forcing myself to scrawl my name. Alex. The letters wobbled, uneven, like a stranger had written them. I tried again, harder, slower, Alex. But the word looked wrong. Foreign. By the third attempt, my hands were shaking so badly, I dropped the pen. I pressed both palms against my face, hot tears stinging my eyes. How could I forget something so simple? How could 3 weeks of living under Melissa's control erase the boy I'd been for 19 years? The next morning, Melissa decided it was time for another lesson. She had laid out a sky-blue sundress across my bed, its straps delicate, its hem flaring with cheerful lightness. I glared at it, my voice raw. "I'm not wearing that." Melissa appeared in the doorway, sipping her coffee, one eyebrow arched. "Why not?" "Because it's not me." The words cracked. "None of this is me." She walked over, slow and deliberate, her heels clicking softly against the floor. Setting down her mug, she lifted the dress and held it against my body, tilting her head as though studying a canvas. "Funny," she murmured, "because when I look at you in this, I don't see Alex at all. I see her. The girl you're becoming. The girl you're already halfway to forgetting you weren't." Her tone was gentle, almost maternal, and it shattered me more than cruelty ever could. "I remember who I am," I snapped weakly. "I'm Alex." Melissa smiled, cruel and knowing. "What's your middle name?" My lips parted. Nothing came out. I froze, panic blooming in my chest. My mind was a blank wall. I tried again, searching desperately for the syllables that should have been second nature. But they were gone. Melissa's hand cupped my cheek, her thumb brushing away a tear.
"See?
You're slipping. The serum is working faster than either of us imagined. Every day you resist, you lose more of him. And every day you accept, she grows stronger." Her words wrapped around me like chains. That afternoon, Melissa dragged me out again, this time to the salon. The moment I walked through the door, the air thick with the smell of hairspray and polish, my chest constricted. Women lounged in chairs with foils in their hair, chatting easily. A stylist looked up and smiled. "Welcome." "Oh, she's adorable," she said to Melissa. "First time in?" Melissa squeezed my hand, her voice sweet.
Yes.
"My little cousin here's been dying for a change." I wanted to scream, to correct her, but my throat closed, and the lie slipped through unchallenged. Soon I was seated in a chair, a cape draped around me, my reflection staring back from the mirror. The stylist combed through my hair, humming. "Such lovely texture. We'll frame her face with some layers, maybe a few soft curls." Her. Melissa nodded approvingly, her eyes locked on mine in the mirror. "Perfect. Make her look as pretty as she feels." I bit my lips so hard it almost bled, but I didn't stop them. I couldn't. An hour later, when the cape came off, a girl with shining, shoulder-length curls stared back at me. Her lips trembled, her eyes wet, but she was stunning. "Beautiful," the stylist said warmly. Melissa leaned down, her whisper a blade. "What did I tell you? You're forgetting him already." That night, I stood again before the mirror in Melissa's house. The curls framed my face perfectly. My skin was smooth, my figure slight, feminine. I tried to summon Alex. His voice, his name, his smile. But all I saw was her. Tears blurred my vision as my reflection smiled faintly back, an expression I hadn't meant to make. The mirror lied. Or maybe I was the lie. And that was the breaking point. The storm outside roared like a living beast, but nothing compared to the thunder inside my chest. My cousin stood at the doorway, rain dripping from his jacket, eyes blazing with a mixture of shock and disgust. "Answer me," he snapped, his voice sharp enough to cut through the air. "What the hell have you done to yourself?" I froze, the short black dress clinging to me, my painted lips trembling. For weeks, I had lived in fear of this moment, someone from my past seeing me, judging me, dragging me back into the boy I no longer fit inside. And now it was here. I didn't ask for this. I whispered, my throat dry. "It just happened. The serum, the changes." "Don't you dare blame this on the serum," he barked, stepping closer. His eyes scanned me up and down, lingering with disbelief on my heels, my smooth legs, the delicate neckline of my dress. "You chose this. You let it happen." Behind me, Sarah's voice broke the tension like silk over glass. "She didn't choose it at first," she said firmly, stepping into the room.
"But now?"
"Look at her. She's thriving. This is who she was always meant to be." Her words sank into me, hot and dangerous. Part of me wanted to cling to them. Yes, maybe this was who I was meant to be. But another part, the old part, shrank back, ashamed and terrified under my cousin's burning stare. "Listen to me," my cousin said, grabbing my wrist. His grip was harsh, too harsh against the fragile skin I now lived in. "This is wrong. This is sick. We can fix this, but you need to stop now, before it's too late." Sarah's eyes flashed. She stepped between us, pulling me behind her like a shield. "Don't touch her. You don't get to decide who she is. Not anymore." Her words left me breathless. She had called me her. Not him. Not Alex. Not the boy she used to tease into makeup sessions. But her. For a moment, I felt lightheaded. My cousin's voice was a chain. Sarah's was freedom. And I was dangling between them, torn apart. The rain outside softened, and Sarah's phone buzzed on the table. The reminder, the party.
The test.
The moment I was supposed to step into the world as her, not just in Sarah's apartment, but in front of everyone. "You're not going anywhere," my cousin growled, blocking the doorway. "Not like this." Sarah's hand slipped into mine, squeezing tight. "Yes, she is. She's coming with me. And she's going to show everyone how beautiful she is." Tears welled in my eyes, blurring the storm, the room, both of their faces. My cousin's grip, Sarah's touch. Two futures pulling me apart. I opened my mouth, but my voice cracked into nothing. My heart screamed louder than words.
"Who am I?"
In the end, My body moved before my brain decided. I yanked my hand free, grabbed my purse, and pushed past both of them. The rain soaked into my dress instantly, mascara streaking my cheeks, but I didn't stop. The party was waiting. The storm was waiting. My answer was waiting. Behind me, I heard my cousin shout my name, my old name, but for the first time it sounded like it belonged to someone else. The city lights blurred through the storm as I hurried down the street, every step of my heels slapping against wet pavement. My heart raced, not just from fear, but from a strange, trembling exhilaration. The party wasn't just a party. It was a stage. And tonight, I wasn't Alex. I was her. By the time Sarah and I arrived, the storm had calmed, leaving the air heavy with mist. Music thumped from inside the glowing house, laughter spilling out the open windows. I hesitated at the gate, clutching my purse so tightly my knuckles hurt. What if they laugh? I whispered. Sarah leaned close, her hand warm on my back. Then let them. You'll still walk in there. Because you're stronger than you think. Her words wrapped around me like armor, thin but enough. Together, we stepped inside. Conversations paused as eyes turned toward us. For a heartbeat, silence crushed the room. My knees shook. Heat surged to my face. I wanted to disappear. But then, "Wow, she's gorgeous," someone whispered. The words hit me harder than any insult could have. Gorgeous. They thought I was gorgeous. My chest tightened, my pulse hammering as warmth spread through me. For the first time, I wasn't invisible. I wasn't a shy boy in the corner. I was noticed, desired. A boy with broad shoulders and kind eyes offered me a drink, his gaze lingering in a way that made my stomach twist. Embarrassment, fear, and something dangerously close to excitement tangled inside me. But just as the music swallowed me, just as I started to belong, a voice cut through the air like a knife. "Alex." I froze. My cousin stood in the doorway, rain dripping from his hair, fury etched across his face. The room shifted uncomfortably, whispers spreading like wildfire. "That's not Alex," Sarah shot back, stepping forward. Her voice carried across the room. "That's her. And if you can't see that, then maybe you don't know her at all." My cousin's eyes locked on me, full of betrayal. "This isn't you.
Come home."
End this madness before it's too late. The room fell silent. Everyone waited. The boy I had been and the girl I had become. I could only choose one. Tears blurred my vision. My lips trembled. Every nerve screamed for me to run. But when I looked at Sarah, at the crowd, at the boy who had called me gorgeous, something inside me cracked open. I lifted my chin, my voice shaking but clear. "My name isn't Alex anymore." The words hung in the air, fragile but unbreakable. My cousin's face hardened, then crumbled with disbelief. He turned and left, the door slamming behind him. The room exhaled. Music rose again. Sarah squeezed my hand, her eyes shimmering with pride. And when someone asked if I wanted to dance, I nodded. As I stepped onto the floor, dress swaying, heels tapping, I felt the weight of my old self fall away. Fear still lingered, yes. Doubt still whispered. But for the first time, I wasn't trapped between two worlds. I had chosen. Weeks later, the mirror no longer lied. The girl looking back at me wasn't a stranger.
She was me.
My body, my voice, my life, it all belonged to her now. And though part of me grieved the boy I used to be, another part, stronger, freer, more alive, knew the truth. The serum had started the transformation. But I had finished it. Because the real change was never just in my body. It was in my heart.